Okay, go ahead.
Testing 4 5 6 12 8 9 6 5 4 3 2 1.
6 5 4. Let's go with it.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, sir. Glad to be here.
This is going to be a good time.
Yes, it is. I know you wanted me to say this, but I just wanted to let you know that when you asked me to be on this podcast, I was like super excited. And I know you asked me to say that 4 or 5 times, so that's at least one.
Well, we only got 3 or 4 to go. Well, I didn't even have a podcast when you asked me that. So
when I asked you, or when you asked me?
When I asked you that, when I asked you to be on the podcast, I didn't even have a podcast yet. So.
Yeah, so here we go. Also, I think I can hear the sound coming from the headphones.
I think it's fine. How loud is it over there?
I can hear it pretty good. It's pretty distracting.
Okay, well, I'll keep the headphones over here. Say something.
Hello, Josh. How are you?
It's fine. Anyway, yeah, so I wanted to have you on first, partly because this is an experimental episode, and so...
Wow, okay, thanks.
I figured if anything went wrong, it'd be good to have... it'd be best to have you as the guest on. But yeah, so let's see here. Let me introduce you to the folks, whoever's listening to this, because you hopefully already know who I am, and I'm sure most of you know who John is as well. But this is Johnathan Swaffer, and he's a seminary student, right, here at Bob Jones.
That's right.
And he's studying for his master's in biblical counseling.
Yes.
Which he doesn't know if he's going to finish. He's the other mentor here in Johnson with me. And as I was thinking about it, he's really been, I don't know if he'd say the same, but he's been my closest friend, I think, for probably the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
2.5 years, really.
Yeah.
And we can talk about some of that later, but I thought it was more than fitting to have him as the first guest on the inaugural episode, the flagship episode. Have you ever heard that before? People talk about flagships.
The pilot episode.
Yeah, I was like, what's a flagship?
They always say that the pilot episode is like the worst, but
well, it's only.
I don't know. I always like the pilot episodes.
No, the pilot episode is the worst. That's what I always say. Do you know what other phrase I learned the meaning of this morning?
What did you learn?
I learned why people say break a leg.
Oh yeah, why is that?
Do you know why?
It has something to do with the leg of the curtain, like a curtain leg or something in the theater.
No.
Okay.
At least that's not what I heard this morning.
Okay.
So I was doing my audition this morning, and they were like, so I went and auditioned for a play here at school, and some of the kids were saying break a leg, and then somebody was like, do you guys know what that even means? And most of us were like, no. And the reason why you want to break a leg is so you get cast.
Oh.
Isn't that fun? I love that.
That is actually really good. I was actually just thinking maybe it was because it was like John Wilkes Booth and he jumped out of the theater after shot Abraham Lincoln and broke his leg.
So why would you tell someone to do that?
Maybe it's like reverse psychology.
It doesn't make any sense.
I don't know.
No, you say break a leg so you get cast. So you get a cast.
So you get a cast.
Yeah.
You get, yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not. Somebody can fact check us, but that's what I heard. So
I thought it was something to do with like the curtain, like one of the curtains is called a leg, like in a more technical term. And so if you break a leg, then you are like the curtain leg is broken whenever you kind of like step out on stage. But I have no clue if that's even true.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know anything about theater.
I don't know.
But we'll see.
I don't know. I thought I heard that once.
Oh, that's interesting, John. That's very interesting. Okay, so why don't you tell me, and I mean, I haven't even heard all this yet. Tell me like your life story. Like give me like the highlights from childhood up until coming here, like what brought you here, and you don't have to go into every detail.
So I was born when I was born. That was October 15th of 2000, and so I can always remember what year or how old I am by the year it is. This year's 2024, so I'll be turning 24 this year
in October.
So that's a long way away.
You're only as old as the year for like 2 months.
What was that?
I said, so you're only as old as the year for like 2 months.
Basically, yeah. But hey, it's at least some. Yeah, so then I was born, and then of course my parents raised me, and so my dad was a Christian school principal.
Where were you at this point?
Yeah, so I was born in Wisconsin.
Okay.
I was born in Janesville, Wisconsin, and lived in Whitewater, Wisconsin, which is a little town, and they have a college there.
Maranatha?
No, UW Whitewater.
Oh.
That's part of the town. And so I grew up in a small college town, which later on in life worked out well because the college kids would like throw away their nice things sometimes from their rich parents. So one time me and my brother, we got an Xbox and 4 or 5 controllers out of the trash.
Out of like a dumpster?
Yeah.
Like on the side of the road?
Yeah.
Why were you looking in the dumpster?
Because we would go around and look in the dumpsters because people would throw away stuff like that.
Is this why you love like clearance aisles in Walmart?
Yes.
I've never met anybody who goes to Walmart and immediately is like, let's go to the clearance aisle.
See, I always like to find...
I didn't even know Walmart had a clearance aisle until I met you.
I've always loved the idea of treasure hunting and like pirates, I think that's really cool.
So you were telling me about metal detecting the other day.
So I just recently went metal detecting with my girlfriend's dad, and it was really fun. And
future father-in-law, perhaps?
Yes, hopefully, Lord willing.
Oh.
It was really fun, and he found some cool stuff, like some old wheat pennies and an Indian head penny, and I mostly just found trash and
what they say?
Some more modern quarters. And
one man's trash is another man's treasure.
My greatest find, though, was a fork, and it's actually silver plated and from 1881. So
that is very cool.
I know.
Okay, so get us back to the story about dumpster diving.
Yeah, well, that happened way later in my life, but okay. I also did find a pair of Oakley sunglasses in the trash once.
Maybe they were mine. I lost a pair of Oakley sunglasses once.
Were you in Whitewater?
No.
Okay.
Actually, it was my brother Sam who lost them.
Oh.
I found them here. in Johnson. I found them on like move out day, like 2 years ago, and I took them because everybody had left, and they were probably like $150. And then my brother Sam thought they were the coolest thing and took them to football practice, and then they were gone.
Oops.
He's never paid me back. So Sam, if you're listening to this,
I looked up the glasses that I found in the trash, and I think they were worth like around like 120.
Solid.
So, but I don't even know where they are.
Okay, so fast forward to what brought you down here to Bob Jones.
Yeah, really quick life. I was born, and then I came to Bob Jones. So
why did you come here?
Why did I come here? Well, so both my parents graduated from Bob Jones, so I always grew up hearing about it. And one of the things is that my dad worked on the stage crew, and he worked lights up in the light booth and spotlighting and stuff like that. So that was something he always enjoyed. And so growing up, we would always watch the different Shakespeare plays and live streams that would be going on. And so actually, I always grew up watching that and always kind of liked Bob Jones. Sometimes we would come down here for different fine arts events and things like that. And so I always kind of liked Bob Jones. I always thought it was like really pretty and stuff like that. And
right.
So I was always interested in coming to Bob Jones. Always thought that would just kind of be where I ended up, like, But as I got older, I like wanted to seek the Lord about it and like was praying about it. And I actually lived not far from Maranatha, which was like 45 minutes away.
Right.
But then I was still planning to go to Bob Jones. And then the Lord moved us down here, my family down here to South Carolina, to the Greenville area, right before my senior year of high school.
What year was that?
It was
summer of 2018?
2018, yeah.
Okay.
Summer of 2018.
Right.
Yes.
So, because my freshman year at Pensacola was fall of 2018.
Yes.
So you're a year behind me.
Yes.
And yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So then the Lord moved us down here, but I was still praying about it. And then I came I came to like a spring preview college days and just really loved it, loved the campus. And one of the things, again, was just the fine arts and the opportunity to do that here. I think that Bob Jones probably does, like out of Bob Jones, PCC, and Maranatha, I would say that Bob Jones has the best fine arts program.
For sure.
And they put on like the best.
I even went to Pensacola.
Their best caliber, like, I mean, just their plays and their musicals are done at a really professional level, actually.
So it was the fine arts that drew you in.
Yeah, because I could have gotten like a Bible degree from anywhere. Well, not anywhere, but
sure,
and I knew Bob Jones did a great job teaching, and they had a really good Bible faculty and good all of that. But then it was just the opportunity to do fine arts stuff that was like, okay, I really want to be able to do that, and I could really do that here at Bob Jones. And
so, who was your first roommate, Andrew?
No, my first roommate was two guys actually. Griffin Lowe.
Griffin was your first roommate?
Griffin Lowe was my first roommate.
What?
And Andrew Weiss. So they were both music.
How did I not know this?
Yeah. So
why did you never talk about this when you were on staff with Griff?
I mean, it's not really something I could talk about.
But like I actually did not know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was cool. It was actually really cool because that first year, all those guys who were on that crew were from the first floor.
You mean the first year on staff in Johnson?
Like, yeah. So all the guys who were the RAs were on the first floor of Johnson all at the same time. Year, so you and all your guys.
Well, I came in the next year. No, I didn't.
No, because you would have been there.
Well, yeah, I did. I came in spring of 2020.
Spring of 20.
So it was the spring of your sophomore year is when I got in.
So maybe. Yeah.
But I was on first floor the next. Anyway.
Right.
So Andrew was your roommate second year.
So Andrew Barr, was my roommate. My
shout out to Andrew Barr.
Yes.
And Molly.
Good man. So he was my second roommate. So actually, we were next door to each other our freshman year.
And that's how you met?
Well, we were both in youth singers together. And actually, it was kind of funny because at one point, Andrew and I had kind of become good friends, and we were trying to like think back to like how we met. And one time we were like just standing in a group of people, and he was like, somebody was asking us that, and he was like, well, I don't know, maybe it was youth singers or something. I mean, it's not like we're even on the same hall or anything. And I was like, Andrew, I live right next door to you.
Andrew just not always being aware of everything.
But so anyways, but we would like, because of course there was the lights out at 12 rule. So sometimes we would like sneak back and forth to each other's rooms at night.
He still didn't know you lived next to him? I don't know where this guy's coming from, but he keeps sneaking into my room at night. He's not even on my same hall. Okay. And then that's how so then you met Candace and Danielle.
Yeah. So I mean,
that same semester. Yeah.
Candace and Danielle. Yeah. So there was this really cute girl that was in my New Testament class named Candace Taylor. And I thought she was really cute. I thought she was beautiful. And I was interested in her, but I didn't think it would work out between us. And I didn't think she would really go for me. So I was like, Andrew, you should go for this girl. And he had already been thinking about her. And so they ended up kind of dating and whatever, almost dating, whatever, for like a year and a half. But through that, I met Danielle because Danielle was Candace's friend. Mm-hmm. So like the four of us would hang out all the time, freshman year into sophomore year. And we had a lot of fun together.
And fast forward 4 years later.
And Candace and Andrew did not continue. And I picked her up.
And Andrew married a very nice girl.
Yes, he did.
We love Andrew and Molly.
And the Lord is really good.
Man, we've talked about Andrew a lot on this first episode.
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay, great. Good stuff. And then, of course, now you're here and doing grad work. And then tell us about your plans for next year. I mean, whatever you have.
So Lord willing, I'd like to get engaged, and so then we'll get married at the end of the summer is what I'd like to do. And then we'll see where the Lord takes us from there. We've got different options, but I'm not exactly sure where exactly we'll be.
Right.
So.
Yeah, this semester is the last hurrah for this current Johnson staff, because John's not coming back, and I'm planning on doing something different next year, and I don't know what Max is doing, so we'll see. But
yeah,
it's been a good run though.
It has been a good run.
It's been a lot of fun.
It has been a good run.
Yeah. Okay, tell me a little bit about. Let's see, what direction do I want to go here? Okay, let's talk about the personality test we took.
Okay.
So John and I took the Big 5 personality test the other day, and like I've been thinking about taking it for a while. I have some family members back at home. If you're listening to this, shout out to you guys, but who have been encouraging me to take it, and I've wanted to, but I just hadn't gotten around to it. So we sat down the other day and took it, and it was really funny.
It was funny, but I will just say this, like Josh is like, hey, would you want to take this personality test with me? Because we were talking about personality tests the other day, and there's a 16 personality test, Myers-Briggs, that I've mostly used, and then of course there's the Enneagram stuff, and you can find ways to take that for free and everything. And so I was like, okay, yeah, sure, like that would be fun, like it would be fun to take one of those. And then he's like, would you want to like do this? I mean, it'd only be maybe a couple of dollars. And then he tells me it's going to be like $10. And so I was like,
we are college students, so $10 is.
And I'm trying to get married.
That's
okay?
true.
Like, but anyways, so I splurged, and I was like, well, you know what? If I have to give up McDonald's a couple times, that'll be worth it. It'll be worth it.
That's a good thing.
Speaking of eating out, we should tell people about what we just decided the other last Saturday, I think it was. Oh,
well, yeah. So we decided that we're sick of eating at all the same, like 3 places in Greenville, like McDonald's, Panda Express, and Joy of Tokyo, which are good places, but like Greenville has a lot of good food options, and it's like food options in Greenville are like churches. There's like a different flavor on every corner. You like my analogy there? And you could never visit all of them in a college career, but there's a lot of good places that you just kind of drive by every day. So we thought we'd try to hit some new places this semester.
Well, and we decided this because let's say we were going to go to the lunch, and for some reason, we had to sit desk, and then this guy was supposed to come relieve us.
Tell this story, okay?
And
this was like the first day back.
And so this is our first day. We're kind of getting settled in
this semester. Yeah.
So the mentors are supposed to kind of sit desk in the morning while the RAs are doing some training and stuff. And so one of the RAs was supposed to come relieve me at like 12 o'clock, 12:30. And his meeting went long. So then it was like 1 o'clock, 1:15 till he ended up showing up, which is like almost like an hour after Josh and I planned to go eat lunch.
Right.
So
this was the first day that we got back, and we were like, okay, we're gonna schedule out our day like by the hour.
Yeah.
And it was like, go to lunch at 12:15, and then it's like 1:20, and we're like still sitting there.
So we go outside and we get in the car, and
it gets better.
And Josh starts backing up, and we just hear this crunch, and Josh had crashed into someone.
I didn't see them
unfortunate.
there.
Yeah.
No,
and it wasn't malicious, of course, but
no, it was malicious. I did it on purpose.
So then that was a whole ordeal. So then it was like what? Like it was almost. I guess it was almost.
Hold on. Let me explain myself.
Okay.
So this was the day after I had driven down here. So this is Sunday. This is last Sunday. Well, I drove down here last Sunday.
This Monday.
Yeah. So I drove down here Sunday. Drove 12 hours and didn't come close to an accident. And then I got in my car and drove for like 1 second on Monday afternoon, and I hit someone. I haven't hit someone in years. Anyway, I don't know why they were parked behind me. Like, usually you don't just sit in your truck behind a running vehicle, but
I'm not sure what happened.
I don't know. But anyway, just so everybody knows, I busted my taillight, but that was it. And I dented their door, but we're good.
But it was all
I
good.
just fixed my taillight, actually.
Yeah, how'd that go?
Right before we started recording.
Did no one help you?
Yeah, Noah Nelson gave me a hand.
Nice.
I'm glad he was there, actually, because it was a little bit more involved than I thought. But like the rim right below the taillight was bent, so I had to like take it off and unbend it because the new light wouldn't fit on.
Interesting.
But we got it. So anyway,
but
okay.
Yeah. So anyway,
why are we talking about that?
Because then we left there, and so of course we're going out and we're gonna try to go to Walmart, and so we switched cars. We took my car.
That's right. We did switch cars at that point.
And so then we were gonna go and we're trying to find. Well, first we were gonna go to the DC because we weren't gonna spend money. So we went to the DC, but the DC closed at 1:30, and we got there at 1:38.
That's right.
Because we had this whole ordeal. So then we had to go out. And so we were going to go to Walmart. And so on the way, we passed this Clock Drive-In, which is right off of campus.
Yeah, it's called the Clock Drive-In. It's right off campus, and it's like an old American diner.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it's nice. And prices are decent, and the food was good. And so Josh and I, we were sitting in there. It was like, oh, like we should, there's so many cool food places. I mentioned this pizza place that's like right across the street down the road a bit. And we were like, well, we should just go visit all these fast food or these other food places instead of doing the same things that we always do. But the other thing that we did is that we decided that in, 30 years? 30 years, we're going to meet back on that day at the Clock Drive-In. So 2054, we're going to meet back at this Clock Drive-In.
For lunch.
And we'll bring our
wives. We'll be like in the middle of the apocalypse.
And our children.
Then.
Yeah, right.
We'll just be like us. And like Greenville will be like a ghost town.
Like in I Am Legend?
Yeah, exactly like that. But like that guy in the Clock Drive-In will still be serving burgers. That'd be cool.
So anyways, I don't really know why we got off.
Yeah, anyway, let's get back to the personality test here. That was just the beginning of my week.
Yes.
Both of our weeks, but it's been a good week. Okay, so we took the Big Five on understandmyself.com. Jordan Peterson talks about this test a lot. And this one's cool because it doesn't just give you like a score and say like you're a 9 in extrovertedness or something. You know, like it compares you to everybody else who's ever taken the test. So it's not just taking your answers and saying you answered 5 questions this way, so add the math up and then you're that much whatever the characteristic is. Instead, it compares you and it puts you in a percentile, right? So if you're in the 90th percentile of something, how does that work again? If there were 100 people in a room, you would be more whatever that characteristic is than 90 of them. Yeah,
for example, for my agreeableness is very high. I'm in the 94th percentile of agreeableness. If you were
if there were 100 people in a room, John would be more agreeable than 94 of them, which is true. John's very agreeable. I hit 61 on my agreeableness, which is a little lower than I thought, but I think I'm also just learning that I'm less agreeable than I used to think I was.
Yeah. I mean, you are like, I mean, you definitely have your own opinions and your own thoughts, and you will stand by those things. But like, it's not like so you're not agreeable in that sense, but you're not like what's the word I want to use? You know, like
I'm not like contentious.
You're not contentious.
Because I don't love just fighting with people. I actually hate fighting with people, but I do love like contested conversations, and like I do love poking and prodding people for the fun of it. But I never want to be actually upset at somebody. Like that's what right. In my mind, if you're disagreeable, you're like right. always really upset, or like you make people mad at you. And like I don't think I make people mad at me that often, but I do like playful confrontation. I don't know if that makes sense.
I mean, I think you enjoy a good
bout. I enjoy a good battle. Okay.
Wow. This says that the mean percentile for women in the general population for agreeableness is 61.5.
Wow,
for
that's
men,
exactly. I'm like an average woman in my agreeableness.
For men, it is 38.5. So evidently, we're more like women than men. In this.
Yeah, we have a few questions about it, but hey, John's like, you're way up there. Women are higher than in agreeableness than men. People low in agreeableness are not so nice, stubborn, dominant, harsh, skeptical, competitive. So neither one of us are that way. I think I'm getting less agreeable the older I get. I think like when you're more comfortable, I don't know.
Yeah. You're less agreeable? Is that what you're saying?
I think I'm getting less agreeable.
Yeah. Well, this is actually kind of like what I was talking to you about the other day about the neuroplasticity of our brains.
Yeah, talk about that.
And
I was actually going to ask you about that.
Well, like, so as you get older, your brain becomes more concrete. So neuroplasticity is the ability of the brain to learn things, to create new pathways. And as you get older, those pathways get more concrete, right? Because you've been doing the same pathways over and over and over again, right? So when kids are younger, they can learn things very fast because their brains are very placid. Mm-hmm. And so that's why like kids can like learn 3 languages no problem, but older people are going to have a really hard time because their brain is very concrete at that point. But it's interesting that you say that because as you get older, you're going to become more
set in your ways.
Yeah, more set in your ways, and so you're going to stand for the things that you believe more.
So you're just saying my brain is getting hardened.
Yes. You've heard of like people's heart hardening. Well, your brain is hardening.
My conscience is seared and my brain is hardened.
That's not a good thing.
Okay, what about compassion? What'd you get on compassion?
I got a 95 on compassion.
John's very high in compassion, which is true. I've seen it.
Compassion and politeness are like sub-traits of agreeableness.
I suppose.
That's what it is.
Oh, yeah. Right. Right, that's right.
Compassion is an aspect of agreeableness.
And on politeness, you got
85.
And I got 45. I was a 72 on compassion. Okay. That about covers that. We don't want to take too long on this.
Wait, what were you on politeness?
Politeness?
Yeah.
45.
So
average politeness.
I just want to point out that highly polite people tend to be deferential to authority and are generally obedient. So Josh scores lower than 50% on obedience.
I am very obedient to people that I think I should be obedient to.
What was it that you told me one time? You were like, I really just do not want to be accountable to John Dalton.
No.
It was something like that.
I have never said such a thing. No, I love Mr. D. And I respect Mr. Let me be very clear. Right. I respect Mr. D very much, and I'm happy to be obedient to Mr. D. There are some people that I don't want to be.
I think it was just one of those days where Josh was just kind of like,
just one of those days.
It was a less agreeable day for him.
I do have my less agreeable days. Oh dear. Okay. What about conscientiousness?
Conscientiousness, I scored.
Hold on, let me talk about.
Yeah.
So conscientiousness is a measure of obligation, attention to detail, hard work, persistence, cleanliness, adherence to rules, standards, and like. Okay, so I scored lower on this one than I thought I was going to, and I think this is I think this one's skewed. I'm pretty sure I'm not a 25.
I was a 35. And I would say that Josh is better at this than me.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I maybe just answered some questions wrong.
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
Yeah, this talks about it's like primary dimension of dutiful achievement in this particular model of personality. And, Josh just said what he said, but conscientious people implement their plans and establish and maintain order. And the two components of it are industriousness and orderliness.
I'm definitely less conscientious than a lot of people I know, because I'm not like I struggle to make lists. I struggle to because I like being a little bit more free.
I think that this is something that I actually like.
Yeah,
is doing it. I'm just not good at the disciplined part to do it consistently.
You might be more conscientious than me, than, naturally.
In some ways, but you make plans and you go and you establish things and that's you. That's you more than me.
Right.
I'm not a go-getter. I'm not a self-motivator. You are self-motivated.
Yeah, I don't know.
More
this one was weird.
But, well, my mom told me this morning.
Oh. Okay, Mrs. Swaffer gets a shout out on the podcast.
I was at breakfast with my parents and talking to them about my girlfriend and just I think she's the one I want to marry, and I was like, Mom, do you think and I forget how it came up, and my mom was basically, she was like, Johnathan, like, you are someone that definitely needs a wife. And
thanks, Mom.
And I was like, why do you say that? And she's like, well, you're not a naturally organized person. And
that's really
I was
funny.
like,
Hey,
okay,
Mom say it
thanks.
best usually.
But my girlfriend is a very organized person, so
yeah, Candace is. We talked a lot about how Candace and John are different, and like, what did I say the other day? Candace is very blunt a lot of the time, and she's very. You said she's task driven.
She is very task driven,
and John is much more relationally driven, which I think I am as well. But it's good to be, opposites attract.
Yeah,
that's what they say.
Yeah. I think she would score very high on conscientiousness.
Yeah, I think she would. All right, extroversion.
Okay.
I got a 92. One time, Josh Stoff, Juice.
Yeah.
Shout out to Juice. Man, we're getting a lot of shout outs on this podcast. Yeah. One time he told me I'm a flaming extrovert.
What does that mean?
I don't think. And so, okay, let me talk about my mom. So my mom told me over break that I'm a man who definitely does not need. No, I'm just kidding. She told me that she thinks I'm not as extroverted as people think I am naturally.
Yeah.
Which I don't know.
I would say so.
So then why did I get a 92?
I mean, I think you are an extroverted person, but I think you, like, the most extroverted person I've ever met is Andrew Barr. And he is like especially like the first year or two of college. I mean, also he was coming from a very homeschool background where he had like zero friends, and so he got to the college,
like bottled up,
and he was like
like the cap came off.
He was a flaming extrovert.
That's funny.
And then he kind of settled down once he got a girlfriend. But yeah, no, but I think you enjoy your time to yourself though too, for sure.
Right. Well, this says people who are uncommonly extroverted have a very difficult time keeping things to themselves and tend to tell everyone everything. They're very self-disclosing and they warm up rapidly to other people. They speak first and most often in meetings. They can be extremely captivating and convincing. They will often be the first to act.
That's
not all true of me.
Talking about sharing stuff with people, I've often said about Josh that he's kind of like my personal billboard, because I'll tell Josh something about something, and like the next thing I know, he's like, "Hey, did you know that Johnathan, whatever?" I was like,
I need to work on that.
Okay.
I just like to. I'm not like spreading things about John.
No,
I like telling people things that are interesting.
Yeah, and he likes to share about his friends, which is very kind of him.
What was your score on this?
69.
Okay. And you are more extroverted. And like part of extroversion is just confidence.
Right.
And like knowing how to talk to people.
Right.
You know?
And like I'm not someone who enjoys extroversion as much. I would prefer to just stay in my corner. Like stay with my friends.
Yeah.
You know?
But I would not categorize you as an introvert.
Yeah. I'm definitely more
like it's not like John's like quiet John. Like sometimes, but I'm that way too sometimes.
Right.
But
I will definitely go out of my way and
yeah. What about neuroticism?
Neuroticism. Why do you want to explain that first?
Neuroticism is a measure that, according to this website, understandmyself.com, neuroticism is a measure of general sensitivity to negative emotion, such as pain, sadness, irritable, or defensive anger, fear, and anxiety. So basically how I've heard it described is the amount to which you experience or are susceptible to negative emotion in your life. Like how often you just feel bad things.
So if you are scoring higher, then you would be more susceptible.
You're going to feel more negative emotion. What'd you get?
34. You're
fairly low. I got a 61. And this, I think that's true. I'm there are a lot of people who are way worse than me, but I think that's pretty true. And I think you're pretty low. I don't think you struggle with that with what did it say? Sadness, irritable, or defensive anger, or fear and anxiety as much.
Sometimes, but not as a whole. I'm more of a optimist, really.
Right. Well, I know that like I have family members who have scored pretty high
Really?
in neuroticism in my like people who have taken it in my family. So it's probably just a genetic thing. And like it is funny because most of my friends over the years have told me that I'm very steady person, which I am.
Right.
Like I think outwardly, but I don't always feel it inside.
It's interesting because you can be a steady person on either side of this. Like I would say that most people would say that I'm a pretty steady person as well.
Yeah.
But my bent is more on the optimistic side. Well, your bent I think is more on the neuroticism.
Yeah, neurotic side.
Neurotic.
Yeah. Okay, so this ties into like how I've thought about this before. I think you can divide people up into like two categories, into either realists or idealists.
Okay.
And I like thinking about people in that way. So a realist is somebody who says, look, this is how it is. This is the way it's going to be. Just deal with it. And an idealist is somebody who says, no, but it should be this way. It should be better. And I'm a realist. That's my pessimistic side. You are an idealist.
Yes, for sure.
And you have to have both. You have to have people who say, this is just the way it is. And you have to have people who say, but it could be this way. That's a good balance. That's a good you like help each other, you know?
Yeah.
The world needs both. Okay, let's do the last one. Openness. Openness is a measure of interest in novelty, art, literature, abstract thinking, philosophy, as well as sensitivity to aesthetic emotions and beauty. John, what'd you get in this?
I got a 53 on the overall category.
Wait, what was the one you got? Oh, wait, we'll get to that in a minute. Okay. You got a 53 in openness, but explain.
Well, I just say that, I just say this. So there's two aspects of openness. There's intellect, and then there's aesthetics. So intellect is talking about like
how interested you are in ideas and abstraction.
Right.
Like, do you love ideas? Do you love talking about abstract things?
Yeah. So in that category, basically my intellect is a 5.
Which is actually false. Because when you took the test, you told me afterward that you thought intellect meant something else.
Well, I was thinking, they were asking you if like you enjoy like abstract
conversations and
like
thinking.
ideas and like stuff like that. And I was, when I was taking the test, I was like, do you enjoy like complex math problems?
That's what
And like, I mean, I could be interested in that, but that's not like,
so you were thinking like math. You weren't thinking like faith, hope, and love.
Right.
As you know, or like biblical ideas. I don't know.
And I will just say that
like
this
philosophical ideas.
This site says that do not confuse the personality aspect of intellect with IQ. So just for everyone
John does not have a 5 IQ for all those who are listening. No. So basically, what we're saying is that this is skewed a little bit. Because John had the wrong idea what.
But I would say that I'm still lower in that. Like I do enjoy some ideas and abstract concepts, but that's not my That's not my favorite.
So your overall openness score was
53.
53. Mine was 89, very high.
Yeah. And what did you score in intellect?
82.
And then, but then the other part of openness is aesthetics, which is like stuff with like art and beauty and stuff like that. And I scored 95 in that. And
yeah, I got 87.
Yeah. And I think that
you're more visual than me.
I'm more visual than Josh is. But I think we both appreciate like the arts and
right. We do. We talk about it a lot. Movies,
Shakespeare and movies and stuff like that.
Books and stuff, and
it's very cool.
Music. Yeah, that's a big thing that John and I have connected over. I'd say we've connected over that, and we've connected over people. But we are both very interested in ideas and just enjoy a good conversation, and that's why we've gotten along, I think.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of differences in other areas, but those haven't really been a problem. So.
Yeah. Well, and like and that's honestly like what we bonded over in the first place is like some of those abstract ideas of
because we were in general psychology.
General psych together with Mrs. Miller. Yeah. Shout out to her. Great teacher.
One of the best.
And
that was like 2.5 years ago.
That was a really fun class, and I think me and Josh were the only people in that class who really enjoyed it. But
That's not true.
No, not really. But
we had a little group over there on the side.
But we did.
Stephen DeVore was in there. Logan Amatangelo was in there.
Who?
Logan Amatangelo. Remember him? Glasses. You probably don't know him very well.
Oh, yes, Logan.
Yeah.
Yes. And
I think Candace
was in that class too.
I forgot about that.
And like she's told me that like she was always like sad that like I didn't want to like hang out with her, like be with her.
That's very sweet. Aww.
But it's okay. We weren't at that point. But no, like, and that's what we connected over because like we came into RA, and the first time I met Josh, I was going down to his room because he was in AGL with another guy who I knew. And so I like open up the door, and there's just this guy and like this kind of rugged guy with a baseball cap on, and I thought he was like some farm kid.
Rugged.
And
that's me. And
then we were on crew together on officer or whatever is this? No, dorm staff.
Yeah, dorm staff.
Dorm staff RAs. And so like I knew who he was at that point, but then we just really kind of connected in psychology. And we would ask a lot of questions.
We talked a lot in that class.
Yeah, we did.
That was a good time.
It was good. And we became friends.
So as we are speaking, the Cleveland Browns are playing the Houston Texans, and the score is 0-0. I would like to know your predictions for the NFL playoffs this weekend. So right now, Cleveland's playing Houston. Give me a prediction.
I think Houston will win.
Why?
I think CJ Stroud is on a roll right now. I don't really know a lot, but I think he was really good in college with Ohio State, and I think he's someone who knows how to win. And really don't know anything about Cleveland. I mean, I'm happy for them because they've been trashed for like as long as I've been alive, but they're like really doing well. So I'm happy for them.
Stopping Joe Flacco.
Well, Joe Flacco, yeah. I mean, I hope so.
I saw the other day he's never lost in the wild card round.
Really?
Yeah. So that's cool.
I would be glad for him. I mean, I really don't care, but
yeah, I want him to go back to Baltimore.
I think Houston will pull it out.
Okay, what about Miami and Kansas City tonight? The temperature is like -5. Like the wind chill's like -12.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Are they in Kansas City, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with some of those factors, I think Kansas City is gonna win.
Kind of
but it would be really cool if Miami won.
I had picked Miami until I saw the weather, and then I was like, no, they're not. Yeah. Green Bay, Dallas tomorrow at 4:30.
I hope Dallas wins. I grew up in Wisconsin, but I'm definitely not a Packers fan.
If Dallas wins that game, if Dallas loses that game, that's going to be a shame.
Sad.
I think Dallas is going to pull it off. Dallas is a different team at home.
I've kind of always liked Dallas.
Me too. They're just classic.
Yeah,
that's what I told Mom and Dad over the break.
Exactly.
They agreed with me. Los Angeles at Detroit. Matthew Stafford goes home.
Yeah, that's a fun game. I'm kind of pulling for Detroit. See, because I didn't like the Packers. Because I didn't like the Packers, I would always cheer for the Lions.
Why didn't you like the Packers?
I just didn't like them.
Being a diva.
Also,
that's like your 10% disagreeableness coming out.
Well, and part of it is just like, who wants to be a fan of the Packers? Like, how is that even a cool name?
I don't think. Well, yeah. What is the history?
Woo! I'm a Packer. Woo! Like what? Like the Oregon Ducks.
I forget.
Or the South Carolina Gamecocks.
The Packers are the only community-owned team in the league. The Packers are cool.
Yeah.
I've always been annoyed by them too, but they're cool though.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I will say this: I always like cheering for the Lions.
Detroit's a huge story, and I'm going to be heartbroken no matter who wins and loses that game.
And Matthew Stafford, though, I remember always cheering for him and always thinking like he was a great quarterback, and just never had anyone on his team.
Do you know about Jared Goff? So we traded Jared Goff for Matthew Stafford, and it was kind of like a diss to him because it was basically like, yeah, we don't think you're the guy, and so we're going to trade you away and for somebody we think is better. Yeah. And so it's kind of a revenge game for him, and it's a return home game. It's the first playoff game ever played at Ford Field.
Really?
Yeah. So
that's crazy.
So
speaking of Ford, my great grandpa used to work for Ford. The same.
That's cool. Steelers at Bills.
Bills should win. Hopefully,
they should win. So that was supposed to be tomorrow, and they had to postpone it because of the snow. There's so much snow. Like the stadium is piled up. I saw where they are hiring people, like Buffalo residents, to come shovel snow out of the stadium. They're paying them like $20 an hour.
That's insane.
I want to go do it. You want to go?
That would be fun.
Let's do it. All right. And then the last game, Philly at Tampa Bay. This is a tough one to pick, actually.
I think that Philly will win. I think Tampa Bay's been doing well recently, but early on in the season, Philly was unstoppable.
Yeah, they were 10-1,
and then they lost
it. 11-6.
But I know, and that's really sad. But I think, the people that they have on that team are great players.
Last night, Eric Probus was trying to convince me that Kansas City is going to figure all their problems out, because he's a huge Kansas City fan. Yeah. We always have the best conversations about this. But he was telling me at front desk, he was like, yeah, Kansas City's going to figure all their problems out, but the Eagles are just they've imploded. And I was like, they're the same team. Like, they both have great talent.
I think the Eagles will figure it out. And I think if they figure this game out, I think they could go a long way.
That the Chiefs may win tonight. I don't think they're good enough to win next week. And I actually think Tampa Bay is going to win on Monday. I don't know. The Eagles do seem broken, and Baker's been playing really well. I think he's playing Monday. I saw something about him maybe being out Monday night. But if he's playing, Tampa Bay has a shot, and that'd be cool to see Baker win a playoff game. I like Baker. I always have.
No.
But okay, very good. I know you got to go here, but let me see if I want to hit anything else real quick. No, that's about it. You have anything else you want to say? That was a good episode.
Yeah, it was good. So I enjoyed it.
We're gonna go from here. So my plan is to have. I don't know how often I'm gonna do these. If I could do it once a week, that'd be great. This isn't a lot of preparation. Mom and Dad's podcast, they're basically doing like a presentation, but this is more just a conversation. So, but I'm gonna have a different guest on every week, and we'll talk about whatever. I need to have. I think I'm gonna ask either Trey Woodbury or Zach Haynes, because I want to talk football while the season's still going. I want to talk national championship. I want to talk Belichick and Saban and Pete Carroll leaving. So we'll see. We'll see which one of them I can get on here next time. But okay, that's it.
Yeah. See ya.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.